Nabala Musa, Moro de Nebi. Nabala Musa, Moro de Nebi. Nabala Musa, Moro de Nebi. Guess what? We are figuring out to Yamma. So corora la coba wala tara dona wanzanga oh tini benza tara goma tapuro tiagenga aba imani zenza nini nini wan titala buma Nabala Musa moro de nebi Nabala Musa moro de Moro de Nebi Nabala Musa Moro de Nebi
Jai, and welcome to the Get It Gates podcast. We're glad to be back with you guys another week. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the forces in the non-material, particularly the Nabala Musa Mora Dinabig, the Great Spirit that opened up the way for the Kemetic traditions to the Western world in the modern times as we know it, and all the other ancestors that are standing behind this great work. All the powers of nature that are standing behind this great work, your ancestors, my ancestors, all of our ancestors that work together in the non-material to bring us all together and to connect us and to, help push humanity forward. And my name is Tutib Sumahekwan Amir. I am your host of Gate of Gates, and I'm here with my co-host
Kadizerman Saikapta.
And we are here with our special guest for the night,
Yenboam.
The one and only.
The one and only. We brought her back. Yeah, she's being kind of shy, but that's okay. So, oh, sorry, I'm just tuning into the live stream, but turning it down. So yeah, we've been having some conversations about health, right? And your thing's kind of, we can still hear it.
It's
or
on.
I could hear it. Yeah. We've been having conversations about health. And we're lucky to have Yenboam in the area because, Yenboam's not always around. So I figured, hey, yeah, let's continue the conversation about health, but let's bring someone that's going to be able to give us a raw and unfiltered view on health, and someone that's going to be, kind of shooting from the hip and shooting straight when it comes to health. Because you guys know that Yenboam's from Meritah, and she's been here for about, a year now?
Yeah.
She's been in the States for about a year now. And, she comes from a pure place, a natural place called Meritah, like a place that's aligned with nature, harmonized with nature. And the way people do things is very much aligned there. Whereas here in the West, things aren't aligned, and then you can see how out of whack everybody is, and just how, you know, dare I say, unharmonized. I don't know what's the word.
Just say it, Sen. People are crazy.
Yeah, people are crazy.
We're bad shit here.
Yeah, I was trying to lead up to it, but yes, they're crazy. So, Yenboam, let me ask you a question, right? So, we're just gonna hop right in. What's been the craziest thing? And I mean, keep it real, shoot it straight. What's been the craziest thing about the way people think here that you've noticed in the year of being here?
Like generally or like
It can be as specific as you want, as general as you want.
like here I notice like people just thinking like everything like is about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Just move the mic closer to you, like just speaking to the mic.
okay, yeah, I was saying that like
Move a little bit closer.
okay. People just like here people just thinking like everything is about them, and then like they like I have like in certain like situation
Mm-hmm.
I'm like you can help, but it seems like if we try to help they're gonna see you like bother them, like they don't need you. Yeah.
So, like, meaning that people in America, even if you're in a position to help,
Yeah.
if you help someone in America, then they kind of take it the wrong way. Or they kind of take it like you're bothering them.
Yeah.
So then what's the difference between when you're in Meritah and then someone would try to help you? Would they be looking at you that way, or would they be looking at you differently?
No, we don't function like that. In Meritah, like we learn how to be humble. So like when you like in kind of situation, and then like you yourself, even though like you yourself, you're gonna be like, I can't do this, I need some help.
Yeah.
So like if someone, even though you didn't ask, and then someone sees like you need some help, he gonna be like the person will be like, let me help you, like gonna ask you like, let me help you, you know. Yeah, like we have that kind of approach that we know when we can do something, we won't be like forcing things like to put ourselves inside like we can do it. Everyone have specific thing that you can do, and then when you're on your thing, you're good at that. But you can like today, like I can do something that you're doing. Like if you're good at that, and me, I'm not, and then I'm good at something that you're not. But like we just learn like how I'm gonna like use you, like your thing, to like to benefit, like then I can gain from it, and then you too you're gonna be like, how can I use for like Yenboam's things to like gain,
to benefit
yes.
and to gain. I think we were talking about this the other day when we were at Uncosta. Shout out to Uncosta Natural Healing. We were at we need to be put on Costa products up here. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, we never even put on Costa products up here. Like we need to be plugging on Costa. And we were talking about this at Uncosta the other day, and we were saying we were talking about like people have different levels of intelligence, and then you and I were kind of spelling out for some of the people here like how in Meritah it's so straightforward in terms of the way you will use someone, and it will be strictly based on self-interest in terms of the way like, okay, you know what, yes, I
just got help.
I straight up am just going to, I'm not able to do something that this person is able to do. So I'm just going to use what they're able to do to be able to benefit, and just being straightforward about that. And how if you're not useful to be used, then you're useless. I'm muting your mic. No one wants to hear you chewing. This ain't ASMR. Oh, don't mind us. Yeah, keep going. Don't allow us to interrupt your orange.
No, I was gonna say it's interesting because just so we can make it a little bit more clear, like what do you mean exactly by help, right?
Yeah, that's
Because that could be a very vague thing when somebody says help, especially here in the West. When people think of help, people really think about it in a way where it's like they're the ones who might have went and asked somebody for a certain specific thing. But here, like you're saying, here someone in Meritah can see that somebody needs help, and because there's like that genuine sense of like community where everybody's trying to see everybody grow, because like if I grow, then you know you grow. If you grow, then I know I grow, right? But here it's not necessarily the same, because me seeing you grow, in my mind as a Westerner, it's like, oh well, I'm not growing, so then you become my problem. So like you're an obstacle to me. So then what would be the help that you would consider to like approach to when it comes to somebody in that, like with that kind of mentality?
Like have US mentality. I mean, it's funny though, because today we was in certain situation, me and him, and then
We were working. We're not
Yeah.
going to say what we were doing, but we were working and we were assisting with some clients in Ancaster.
yeah, so I was trying to say, like, I was telling her some stuff, but she won't, like, she can't get it. But like and then I'm like, please, can you help me? And then he go like, you know, it's work. I can do nothing. Yeah, and because it's not I think like when we're talking about like help, people usually think like about like financial or something like that. Everything does go like everything don't turn around like money. Yes. So help like for my evolution, like we say I'm in initiation right now, and like you say I grew up in Meritah, but like I see certain things there, but that it doesn't mean like I understand or I know. So like it doesn't matter who I would go to be like, oh please, like I know you know this, so can you help me? Like I can come to you because you are my attorney. It doesn't matter though I grew up in Meritah, but it's still like you know this before me, and then I'm keep learning, so I can come to you be like, oh please, can you help me in this, or can you help me understand this, just like that. Like you contribute in my life in like somewhere, like in my evolution somewhere. Just yeah.
Yeah, because it seems like talking about what you were referring to earlier, and Yenboam was like while talking to the client, was looking at me and was like, Tatipsa, can you please help? And the client wasn't on video, so they couldn't see us, and I was just like, I shrugged my shoulders and I was like, there's nothing I could really do. And then, but Yenboam kept asking me, and then finally, by the time we got off the call with the client, I just told her straight. I was like, Yenboam, I get it. I was like, if we were in Meritah, I was like, it wouldn't make sense for me not to help. And then she was like, yeah. And I was like, but we're not in Meritah. We're in America. And the difference is that in America, when you help someone, people actually resent you for helping them. Whereas that in Meritah, if you don't help someone, that's where they'll be looking at you like, who raised you? Where are you from? Like, where did you gain those values from? But here, if you help someone, they'll resent you. And they'll look at you like, how dare you? Or they'll look at you and be like, you know, who are you to place yourself in my business? Or who are you to place yourself in my life? Or who are you to think you know better than me in order to say this, or in order to be like, this is how you should do it, or this and that? And it's kind of difficult to understand for a lot of people here in the West, because we are raised to be individuals to such a degree that you will resent anyone that comes to challenge that individuality or that individualness or individualism by coming to tell you, like, you know, maybe you shouldn't do that, because when you do that, you become less than yourself. But in Meritah, if you don't do that, that's what allows you to say you're less than yourself. But that's a ethic or a principled way of living that doesn't exist here. And so what I find interesting is, have you found yourself in any situations trying to help people here over the course of the year, maybe trying to tell them something, give them honest feedback, and then one day, like, how did that go? Did you find yourself in any of those kind of situations?
Yes.
How did it go?
But
Can you, without using names, can you tell us about maybe how, if you would have given that guidance or advice in Meritah, how it would have went, and then tell us how it actually went then here with someone from the West?
Yes. So, I talk too much. I know that.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're just straightforward.
Yeah. But like, people here gonna say like I'm talking too much.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna be like, "Why are you putting yourself in my business?" Yeah.
So we were like in group having conversation. So I noticed something in one person like in the group. So we keep like having conversation, and then someone make argument, and I'm like, okay, listen, this person, I won't lie, he's good at this. That's like, if it comes to that, just give him, he's good at that. But the other thing you guys are saying, I'm not sure. And then so the thing is like,
you're in a safe place, you can say it.
The thing is like, they're older enough, like
they bigger than you.
bigger than me, and in everything, like not just the age, like in knowledge and all of that. So, and then one person come and then be like, don't forget, and she's like, oh my God, don't forget, like, you under us, and then like, you can't say shit. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, okay. So, the person they keep repeating me that thing.
Yeah.
Like,
they keep telling you like, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
And you don't have a place to come tell me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, bunch of times. So I like 4 times, like not too much, like 4 times. And then like where I come from,
you were like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
And then like it made it like until 4 times is like, it's not joke. So if I play, the person can get me easily. So I'm like, oh fine, I won't say anything no more. Like, cool. But the thing is like in Meritah, they learn us like, don't be fake. Especially my grandmother, she's like, don't keep stuff. If you know like it's a lie, just say like you're lying. Like, don't. No.
Meaning like if somebody's saying something to you that you know is not real,
it's
like
not,
you say, you bullshit.
Lying, So in Meritah, like we have that kind of thing. Like when it's going like that, we just like, please stop that. So we used to that way. Like we tell, like this is why, like you see, like we have that kind of and then for us is like how do you say, like something that is proud for us, like
it becomes a pride.
We have that. So to just tell you straight, like it's like you correct me. If you tell me something straight, I'll be like, oh, thank you. Like tomorrow morning, I'll wake up and then come see you and then be like, oh, thank you for this. Like, I didn't know it, but now you're telling me, I will like watch out, like take care, like to not messed up again. You see, we have that. Like that is our education.
It becomes like a value, like something you hold there. And I'm glad you said that, because recently I've been really thinking a lot about a lot of the things that we've been discussing in the temple, a lot of the topics we've been having on Get It Gates, and along the lines of this conversation and this topic, like with the mentality of people in the West and the mentality of people from like a traditional place like Meritah, I've come to a realization, even for like ourselves here in this space, like I've come to the understanding that one of the real differences is this: people in Meritah seem to lack or don't have the same kind of insecurities, or they don't have insecurities at all. And you mentioned pride, and it's funny because I was even like writing something the other night, and I was thinking about it, like what is really the real issue, like not just with myself but like with this society. And I find that pride is a huge thing, because you can have pride in something, but you having pride in that thing, you're having pride in an emotional attachment towards your idea of yourself. And I think that's the problem in the West. People have an emotional attachment to the idea of their own individualism to the point where they think that they are above others. Like, you go into situations thinking you're already above somebody else. That's why you can have that kind of attitude, like, hey, how dare you? How dare this person? Because you're already stuck in your own reality. You're already stuck in your own mentality where it's like things are already fake for you. It's not real. And then that same pride that you have, you being stuck in that, when somebody comes and be real and exposes that to you, it becomes an insecurity for you. Because it's like you can't face or fathom the fact that what you think about yourself, what you think about whatever is around you, about other people, might not be real. It might not be the thing. So then you're forced to kind of like look at yourself, and people don't like to do that here in the West. So then we don't have actual real values. What we value here is our ideas as opposed to actual real things like what you're talking about. Like another person being able to actually give you something that will help you in your own evolution.
You know, it kind of makes me think about like what you're saying, like the interesting thing about the way people kind of take things here in the West is they'll take when you have a position, they kind of take it in a weird, like arrogant way, where it's like, well, I have the position, so now I get to lord over you, or I get to rule over you, where I get to do whatever I want, I get to say whatever I want, I get to function however I want to function.
Because they feel weak already.
Exactly.
They already feel small.
And they then use that in feeling small to now, impose themselves on other people in ways where they're like, there's nothing you could do about this. There's nothing you could say, right? And it seems that people misunderstand the difference in Meritah, where people have a honesty, and they don't care about what you're really thinking about them, and it doesn't really affect them in the way that it stops them from doing the things they need to do, which is very different, where people tend to take it like, well, now I'm going to basically impose myself upon you in whichever way I would like to. What? The person that's calling me, I'm like, we're doing Gated Gates right now. And that kind of misunderstanding is what you find a lot, where you will have someone that will even say something to you like, oh yeah, don't forget you're small. Like, you don't have the place to tell me that. Like, you're beneath me. Whereas that, to me, even if there's a person that will come and say that, and even if they don't have a place to come and say that to me, you still respect the fact that they came and said it to you. You might be like, hey, you know what? Shut up. Or who are you to come and tell me, right? But you're still going to be like, hey, you know what? That person was being honest and they were telling the truth. And you're going to take that truth and you're going to make use of it. That's someone that has like real humbleness, and someone that has real humility and Meritah. They're going to make use of it. But here, they're like, nope. They're like, screw you. How dare you come and tell me that, and get out of my face. And then they disregard it.
Yeah, that just like stupid, because yeah, like, I mean, it take like I'm still learning. I'm still like how do you say it? Like look.
Yeah, you're still
how-
observing.
Yeah,
you're
observing
still
how
observing.
people like function, and I'm like, I can't like. This is like it's not like I'm faking myself.
You find yourself faking yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you have to fake it being
Yeah.
here.
I
Yeah.
have to fake it being here. Where like now, oh, even that I don't like. You're doing some stupid shit. I'll be like, oh, it's good. I like it. Oh, okay. And just, and then like we have that thing where we say like, if my mom like, even if my mom saying it, my face will say other things. So just like, so now I have to be like smiling to tell you like you like the shit that you're doing is good. Yes, I'm like I can't like. Why?
But in your experience, since you've been here, like in you faking it, right? Is you faking it? Do you see it like actually helping the people here at all?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Faking it helps
Yeah,
here?
yeah. Like they feel good, good in that, you know. They feel like I don't know why, but I can't understand how people function, but like
Well,
I
they're
don't.
living a lie.
Yeah.
They're living a lie here.
So,
They're
like-
not living like a
Like
truth.
helping them in the like in good things, I won't say yes, but like helping them the bad path, I would say yes because they just like that path, and then like they tell me who I am to say like yeah, so I'm gonna just shut up and then be like, oh yeah, this is the good path, keep taking it. Now, yeah, it's now that I understand my dad, like the way he functioned with like.
People from the West.
Yes, people from the West. Like, because knowing him back home, he'll be like straight. No, like we don't have that future. Like you have to no, just go. But now he have to go like playing you this, playing you like, and then before, and then even that he still guiding you to bring you in the like
Into the right way.
Yes. So like, I think people here just liking that.
Well, people here become like the pride, whereas the pride in Meritah is the truth, and the pride in Meritah is the integrity of being able to be honest, and someone be honest with you, and then that becomes the cornerstone of the society. The pride here in America is the lie,
Yeah.
and it's the fact that, okay, you lie to me, I lie to you. So that means like, hey, like, what do you think of this thing? And then in your mind, you're like, man, that's terrible. That project is fucking stupid. And then, but you being like, that's a good project. And then I'm like, thanks, Kajas Raymond. And then I'm like, you come to me and you're like, Baraka. And then you're like, hey, what do you think about this? And then I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, that's a fucking stupid project.
Yeah.
But then to you, I'm like, no, that's a great project, man. And then you're like, wow, thanks, man.
So does this mean that every time I ask you about something, I should just be thinking that you're thinking this is some bullshit?
No, I mean, the things I found that have been very difficult for me being here is the fact that I will tell you the truth. And then people will resent me. I didn't understand why everybody hated me. Like, and then I came to the realization, I was like, oh, you guys all hate me because you're liars. And then because I sat back and I was like, do I hate myself?
But that's the thing, though. What you just said is, what you just said, that's very key and it's very interesting because, again, people don't actually know that they're liars.
I think that's not, I don't think that's true. I think people do know they're lying.
No, really think, like, hear me out, right? Most people in the West don't actually know that they're liars. And the reason being is because lying or having a lie as the foundation or the value is normal. It's a natural occurrence. It's a natural thing. Like, if you live in a society where the whole society is built on a lie, the whole society is built on persuading people to have a perception that's different from the actual reality at hand, then the people themselves already have bought into that. So nobody actually does the work to look at themselves. And I think that's the difference between somewhere like here and somewhere like Meritah. Like, people actually genuinely want to evolve and, like, look at themselves. Like, here, what is even evolution? Like, if you tell somebody here the word evolution...
Plastic surgery.
Exactly. Like,
artificial intelligence.
right.
What else?
A monkey turning into
so
a
what?
man.
Money.
Money.
Yeah, money.
It's superficial stuff.
Yeah.
So for us here in the West, we have a very different mentality because of how we've been raised through the education of the system. But now maybe for somebody like you, it's a little bit different, right? Because your parents came from Meritah.
Yeah.
So they have a different understanding of certain things. So for somebody else who's born in Chicago or somebody born in Jersey, it's a very different ball game. They're not even understanding that they're lying because the lie becomes the reality. It becomes the truth.
But the thing that I find, kind of dishonest, and the reason why I'm saying I think people know it's a lie, but they choose for it to be like where they're like, no, it's not a lie, is I've met people that have grown up here that know it's a lie.
Oh, yeah.
So then it becomes like, so then what is it? Is it just everybody gets a pass? And then you just get to say, yeah, well, because you grew up in the lies, then you don't have to take ownership of the fact that you're a liar.
No, then it becomes an excuse thing. Like, if you know it's all a lie, then I think where we miss it, and I'm only speaking for myself at this point, where we miss it is like we can now point the finger externally and say that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie, but then we never point it and say, okay, I'm lying, because we never associate ourselves with everything else we're pointing the finger at. And I think that's where the disconnect really lies, because people have to first understand that they have to start inward before they start pointing the fingers outward. Because once you start pointing inward, you start to see everything outward actually shift, because you shift and you change. And that's the problem with the West. People are not actually being pointed inward. Everything that they point at you is about external things. Okay, how you feel, it matters. And how they feel about you, it's not in alignment with how you feel. Well, point the finger at them, fight them, get a court order against them, get a subpoena against them. You could write a bill of rights against them, whatever. Like, you can do whatever you want here, within reason, right? But it's all based upon you fighting something external. It's not based upon you fighting yourself internally.
No. And I mean, and the thing is that people aren't raised to even self-reflect here. Whereas that in Meritah, it's always like, if you do something dumb in Meritah, they'll be like, are you stupid? Which is automatically a way to get you to reflect on yourself. Because then you have to be like, well, no, I'm not stupid.
Like, am I stupid?
Yeah, am I stupid? But here, if you say to someone, are you stupid? They'll be like, what
the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, they'll be
Fuck
like, how
you.
dare you call me stupid? And then it's like, no, now you're not even thinking about the fact that you're supposed to think about, the fact that you did something stupid. Now you're more like, how dare you point out the fact that I did something stupid?
I'm laughing because I just remembered something. Like, my sister, my oldest sister, she has a son, like my nephew. He's like 14 now. So the way we were raised is different than how his time and where he's growing up is, because social media and the school, it's a little bit different. So now they have this thing where the kids are allowed to tell the parents how they feel and like dictate certain shit. So my sister would slap him in the head and be like, are you fucking stupid? You stupid? Yeah, idiot? Yeah, idiot? Want you? And then now he's coming back at her like, you're abusing me. So my sister called me one day and was like, I don't understand. What's wrong with them? It's like, he's talking about I'm abusing him. It's like, I used to get licks all the time. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you gotta understand, like, it's a different time. Like, they're being catered to very different nowadays. And I think that's what the system or the West is. The more and more you get into it over the years, they're catering to the individual to that degree, where the individual lacks what even Yenboam is talking about. That whole self-reflection, or that kind of community where it's like, I can tell you something about yourself and you're going to think about it for yourself, not because I told you, but because it's about you.
Well, it becomes like you can't escape the reinforcement of the constant just reflection, because everyone around you functions on that principle. So then there's nowhere for you to go. Like, we're talking about a project we were enacting, and the project has to do with kids. And I was telling one of the administrators of the project, I said, you want to implement how we do things back home here for the children. And I said, what you have to understand is that it has to become something that is every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be something that they're in 24/7.
24/7.
Otherwise, the kids are just going to understand it to be a part-time thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to think, okay, well, then I only have to be disciplined, or I only have to be serious when I'm around this person or when I'm at this place.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of them understanding that it's 24/7, that constant reflection, that constant having to look at yourself, having to constantly, analyze yourself, and having to think about, like, okay, like, why did I do that? Like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. In the West, they train you not to think.
Mm-hmm.
But in Meritah, you have to think. With that being said, Yenboam,
Yeah.
what have been some of the situations you've come across where you're like, this person really doesn't think? Where it's become so evident, where you're looking at a person and you're like, man, this person has no idea what's happening. But then they think they understand what's happening. Or they really don't think, and they think they think. I'm trying to get
Like,
you,
there's so many.
I know. I'm trying to get you to really expose people today. But don't put any names. You don't have to put any names.
Okay. I mean, in many situations,
Mm-hmm.
like I found out, and then, just like, and then when I look at the person is older than me. Like, sometimes people, they're older than me, and I'm just like, how this guy is doing this? Like, why? So there's like a lot, but yeah, like I'm gonna take the one that we talked up in Lancaster.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, it was about him. So
About him?
yes, like there was like Tiasta, like give advice to someone. Listen, she give advice.
Mm-hmm.
At least she give like advice,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's something like you should take like serious. So like
It was something that involved, like, something very serious for them.
Yeah, for them.
Yeah.
So and then she even give like the person advice, and then like go talk to Tiasta, and then he didn't do it.
The person didn't do it.
He didn't do
He
it.
didn't come to you.
No,
No.
he didn't come. No.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if you're seeing this, I'm not me. What's the truth? So I was like,
Well, because the person's gonna know.
yeah,
The person's gonna
of
know,
course.
yeah.
And then I was like, so how? Because if they learn me something, it's like, don't be friends with someone that is stupid.
Mm.
Yeah, like it doesn't, like you're not gonna evolve. It's
Yeah.
like the person don't help you, so why being friends with the person? So I'm like, how come you guys can be like with someone like this? Like he's think like far, he's seeing things far, and then he's think like so he's fast. So how can you be with someone like this
Mm-hmm.
and then be so slow? I'm asking you that. I'm like, no, just
What I
use
feel like I
him.
know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think you were there.
I what? No, I
No,
wasn't.
it
No,
wasn't.
no, you weren't there. You weren't
Yeah.
there. You weren't there.
I'm like, just use his brain. Me, I will use your brain. Like, for myself, I will use every time. There's one here, I use her brain like I want. Every time I use it. Because she know and I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I'll go like, oh, how can I do this? She'll help me. And every time I'm back.
Like Google.
Yeah, like just go every time. Like, and then it's like not like Google, because I won't say like Google because like Google doesn't help.
Mm-hmm.
But me, I want like when I ask you something, let me go think.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't give me easily.
Mm-hmm.
Even though sometimes I will put pressure because I know where I'm putting pressure for people, because I don't want to give myself hard time to find out. But I know with those people, like, I can't give, like, no, I can't give pressure for them to give me easily. And then I prefer that, like, give me something that's gonna make me think about, like, what I'm asking you, so I can find that by myself. And then when I came back to you, I'm like, oh, like, I found, like when I think it go like this, it goes like that. So from there now, you're gonna help me again. But when every time I would be like, so what do you eat today? And then you'll be like, oh, I eat too. I'll be like, oh, okay, bye-bye. Because you're not helping me. Like, make me come, like, yeah.
Get to something new.
Yes, let me use this. Yeah, because I'm someone, I know that, like, I'm so lazy to use this. So every time, like, let me use it. Yeah.
Well,
so I will use you.
I mean, I use me too.
Yeah.
Like, that's the interesting part, though. It's like, I'm someone like that too. I use people's brains. So I'll ask people questions. Sometimes they don't even know what I'm asking them for, because I'll just be using your brain to see if I'm seeing the situation
The same way.
or from all sides. So I'll ask people questions just to see. I'll be like, hey, what did you think about this? Or what was your take on this? Just to see people's perspectives. I'll be like, hey, what did you think of what this person said? Hey, what did you think of, like, were you there for this situation? How did you take that conversation? But people don't understand that I'm using it to think. But then people here misunderstand how you can be intelligent and how you can break down situations. So then they take it as gossip. So gossip is when it doesn't serve a purpose. But when you're trying to break things down because you're trying to understand maybe how someone is maybe trying to lie in a situation, or maybe how someone is trying to make a situation seem like it's one thing when it's another thing, or even trying to figure out, like, hey, man, where's this thing going? You know what I mean? Like, trying to figure out, like, have you guys noticed, like, oh, okay, hey, our boss keeps coming in and keeps, like, saying these things. Did you guys notice that? Or is it just me? Or did you notice that our boss keeps coming into meetings and keeps, like, doing this thing? Did you guys notice that? Because it's like you're trying to make sure that you're thinking and you're kind of, like,
on top of things,
anticipating things. But here, it's like, no, I didn't see that. And people are just genuinely, I think, stupid. Like, a majority of people here are just genuinely dumb. And then the problem is like, stupidity is so commonplace. You can go find stupid people a dime a dozen. Like, intelligent people are so rare in this day and age because everyone is being trained to be like a donkey, which means, like, okay, you either put the carrot in front and then they follow the carrot, or you smack the donkey and then the donkey will walk. But other than that, it's so difficult to get people to kind of, like, to motivate people in this day and age is damn near impossible. Outside of, like, two things, either the carrot or the stick. Stick or the carrot. Other than that, it's so difficult to get people to think. People don't want to think. People just want to be comfortable in whatever they think is what's going on, instead of taking the time to actually break down anything that's happening in their lives.
I think that's the key thing, though. It's even what you're saying. It's like, I think it's a comfort zone thing. I think people are afraid to come out of their own natural comfort zones. Not even natural. I don't want to say natural. Out of the comfort zone that they've built for themselves. Because if somebody is looking at a situation and they're not seeing the full situation or the scope of the situation, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it could be because the person doesn't want to see the situation for what it is. It's because the person wants the situation to be what they want it to be. It becomes more of an idealistic thing. It becomes, people here in the West, we find ourselves in these situations, and in the situation, we want to make the situation as good or as comfortable for us as possible. So then we miss it because we're not being open-minded enough to see that, okay, the situation is this, and this is how I need to fit or adjust to this situation. Instead, we're trying to make it the situation how we want it to be so it can fit us. And I think that's where we get the disconnect, because people are inherently not stupid. Like human beings cannot be dumb. Like
Yes,
there's no way.
They can.
Hear me out. In certain aspects, right?
I can name you like 5 immediately.
I can't bake for shit.
Please.
Hear me out. I can't bake for shit. I can cook though, but I can't bake. I'm stupid when it comes to baking. I can't do that. But when it comes to cooking,
I'm so curious to see where this is going.
I'm phenomenal. I'm great at it. I can't play basketball. I'm stupid because I never really put myself in the situations to actually evolve into that. But if you put me in like an area where it's all about the history of religion and intellectual debate, I'm fucking phenomenal. I'm gonna tear that ass up. I'm gonna dog you out. I'm gonna do that. That's me. But I can be in that arena, and then somebody else can walk into that arena and then say some dumb shit. I'm gonna look at them like, you fucking stupid. But that's because they're out of their element. I'm in mine, they're out of theirs. I think that's the problem. People are not actually putting themselves in enough situations and being open-minded enough to get out of their comfort zones to actually evolve, to be the type of individual that can be dynamic enough to be able to handle multiple situations and handle different things. So people end up being stupid or lacking in various different ways. And I think that's where it's missing in the West, as opposed to like traditional societies. Traditional societies, it's like challenges that come. It's like, okay, I'm gonna meet it. But here, challenges that come, it's like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna go to my comfort zone. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I think it also has to do with approach. Like, because, like, I understood this very early on, because, like, growing up, I played sports, and I was terrible.
At sports?
At sports, I was terrible. And I had to stop and kind of think, and I'm like, man, why am I so bad at sports? Like, and then it wasn't until I started getting involved in other things outside of sports that I then began to understand that everything is a process. Everything. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. Sports, cooking, baking, writing, directing, photography, everything is a process. Now, it means that anything that you pick up, that there's now a learning curve within that process. And that's how it is for intelligence. Intelligence is something you develop. It's a process. So if you start baking and you're bad at baking, then it's about, okay, where did I go wrong in my recipe of baking, right? Because even when I'm not a baker, but I picked it up relatively quickly, and I know Yenboam knows because she keeps asking me to make cakes.
And she keeps eating them.
Yeah, she keeps eating them.
Sneaking cake away at night.
Having cakes, having the cake in her room, and then walks out and like at 3 a.m. with like some cake, and then you're like, I thought the cake was finished, and she's like, it's not. It's in my room. So the thing is that like the first time I did it, I was like, okay, that was interesting. But then I kept doing it. I did it like 4 or 5 nights in a row. I just kept baking cakes because I was like, okay, this is what I could have done differently. And then I was like, okay, what if I add this? What if I add that? Because I understood it to be a process. And then when I got to the one where I was like, I got it, and I stopped doing it. And that's why she was like, can you make the last one you made? And I was like, no, because for me it was like I already got what I needed out of it.
You moved on to the next thing.
I got it and I moved on. But that's the thing is like, if people understood that even thinking is a process, and then you have to understand that like you being stupid is a result of you not utilizing the process of thinking. And that's the difference. That's why there's a lot of stupid people, is because they're not thinking. It's not because they're inherently dumb. It's because they're inherently mentally lazy, and then they're not willing to put themselves in situations to figure out certain processes.
Yeah, it's a choice.
It's a choice.
A huge choice.
But in Meritah, you don't find that. Even if someone's not able to do something to the best of their ability, they'll still do it. That's why you can find people being like, oh, okay, you know what? I can't do this, but let me utilize someone else's brain to do it. I'm not good at this, but I can utilize somebody else's brain to do it. But then that doesn't mean that they completely disengage or they completely remove themselves. They're just now putting themselves in a position where they know this person has the ability to execute the vision. So now let me communicate with the person and be like, hey, Yenboam, I can't pull this off. And they may not even say that. They might be like, Yenboam, I know you're good at this, so this is what I need you to do. And then at that point, then it becomes a collaboration between myself and Yenboam, where we're discussing about how it needs to go. I may not understand how to execute it, but I'm going to utilize somebody that can execute it, and I'm going to communicate that to them. But that takes thinking. That takes the time to figure out even the process in which you're trying to get someone to utilize, or you're trying to get someone to do. But here, they don't use that. Like here, that doesn't occur. Like I saw a video the other day, and they were talking about do you really know what marketing is, right? And then they said, a circus comes to town, right? And then they were like, someone says, hey, you take a poster and you put it on the wall. And then you say, hey, the circus is here. And then they were like, that's promotion, okay? And then they were like, let's say that you have one of the elephants, and one of the elephants walks through the mayor's garden and destroys all the flowers. They were like, that's publicity.
Okay.
And then they were like, okay, now let's say you took out a piece of, let's say something happened or blah, blah, blah. I don't remember all the examples exactly, but it was like, let's say this happens and then you put it out like this. They were like, that's advertising. And they were like, now, if you take all of those things and you put them together with a few other elements and you're doing it on purpose, that's marketing.
Okay.
Now, that's the thing is like, to me, that's very commonplace. That to me is the understanding of marketing in its entirety. Is that, okay, it's not about just one thing. It's about understanding that you have to have multiple ways of getting people to talk about the thing that you're doing. And how do you do that? If you got to send it to multiple people for them to do it, if you got to send them some stuff for them to wear, if you have to generate publicity somehow, some way, if you have to generate people's interest somehow, some way, that's marketing. But to me, it seems like people are like, well, marketing is just how many times can you post on social media?
Well, on the basic level for most people. But like you're saying, to your point, most people are operating on the basic level, and that becomes the issue.
They're not trying to understand. They're not trying to understand what a process is. That's what I'm saying. For me, I've always, and I think this is a testament to Meritah. This is a testament to the way my parents raised me, and this is a testament to the culture. Is the culture is centered around intelligence. That's why you never hear about Africans getting scammed by other Africans. You never hear about, every time you hear about like, okay, the Japanese getting sold the airport by the Nigerian guy in Nigeria. Shout out to Idara.
Yo, shout out to all the Nigerians
Shout out to all the
and
Nigerians.
all the Jamaicans.
Yeah, like
I had my uncle, right? So my uncle came to me. He was like, yo, are you doing the scamming thing? I was like, yo, what? I was like, wait, uncle, what you talking about? He was like, yo, y'all scam? I'm like, nah, not anymore. He was like, yo, the other day, somebody called me, and they was like, you've won $50 million in the lottery. So they were like, okay, to receive your earnings, all you have to do is send us a $5,000 something fee.
Yeah.
So my uncle was playing along. He was like, oh, this is how they really get people. So my uncle said, okay, so here what I want. You will take the $5,000 out of the money I win and then send me the rest.
Yeah, see, that's an intelligent person. But that's what I'm saying is, it like in Meritah, you never hear about people falling for tricks like that.
Right.
But here, you always, okay, it's like some poor old like white woman in her 60s that just sent away her whole life savings to some guy. She was like, he's a Nigerian prince.
Living a lie.
And he was stuck.
Living a lie.
And he said he loved me. And like, that's why I had to do it. And that's because people in Meritah understand, they have a certain level of intelligence where they understand, like, okay, if you come here, everyone is living a lie. So all you have to do is play by their lies. And that's the difference. To me, I don't have an interest in learning or mastering the process of marketing. I just have an interest in understanding the intelligence behind marketing.
The marketing. Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, then it's just like, okay, cool. So then you can then utilize it and do it as such.
Okay.
That's why most people find themselves, anyone that knows what marketing is just a way to lie to people to generate. It's trying to basically recreate a natural process that occurs. So you're trying to find ways to generate this thing that normally would happen naturally. But now you're trying to re-engineer it from scratch as opposed to allowing that thing to happen naturally. So for me, yeah, then it's easy. That's why you can go out and you can do comedic man with a sign. That's why you can go out and you can go do these things and then it generates interest in things that people are like, oh man, we have to watch that. We have to find this thing. But that's what I'm saying. That's what people don't understand is that that's, to me, I would much rather go through the process or understanding the process of intelligence and then using that intelligence in any arena as opposed to going and then being like, oh, okay, what is this thing? And let me just do this one thing. But in Meritah, you find that, especially with a lot of people, you find that people have the intelligence where they're like, hey, you know what? I can't pull this thing off, but I know you can pull this thing off. So then it becomes like I scratch your back, you scratch my back in a natural, honest engagement. But in a dishonest engagement, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you're a liar, I'm a liar. And then now let's find ways to go around it and let's find ways to do it like this. So in your experience, right? Because to me, do you or have you found it easy navigating the idiots here in America in terms of just being able to identify an idiot and then be like, okay, this is an idiot. And I know now I can go get what I need or know how to play this idiot in order to get the things that I need.
Yeah.
I mean, we just have to be honest.
Yeah, like for me, yeah, I use one like that. Like I know like the person is an idiot, but I didn't know at first. But started like going slow by slow with the person, I found out like is an idiot. So I'm like, well, why? Like I will let him go. Like just I'm gonna use you. Like keep using you, keep using you. And then like when, like they to be honest, they just like that. Like they just like when you playing that game with them. Like you act like you in the same page with them. Oh, they're good.
They
like,
feel important.
Oh yeah. And then if you can put yourself more down, they're like, oh, thank God. This
and
person I got. Yeah,
they eat it up.
Yeah, and then like they give you everything that you want to know, and then after you be like, I'm not idiot like you, like peace. Like I got you, so I'm gonna use whatever you tell me against you easily.
You know, there's like a huge debate online, and it's like it's kind of silly, but at the same time, there's a little bit of validity to it. Yeah. It's like Africans and Caribbeans, when they come to America, they tend to have this advantage. And a lot of Black Americans like make podcasts and like all these different things about it, like as if like people are deliberately trying to go against them. And a lot of the talk is like we would come here and then we would actually like benefit in ways that the quote unquote African American community isn't. Now, would you say you, as somebody coming from Meritah, you can see with the kind of like traditional environment you grew up in and the education you had, you see with everything that you have that here is easier to take advantage of because people function in a certain kind of way? Would you say that is what is like one of the main key things in the success of immigrants coming to this country?
Can you just repeat?
Like for example, right? We were talking about how people here are basically idiots. So you can easily take advantage of things here because you're actually coming and thinking. Because you're not coming with the same mentality of here. Here, the mentality is like, I'm here and I'm like a servant of here. I'm here and I'm basically like in this thing and I'm a liar like everybody else. But coming from the outside, not coming from that education, and you're like, oh, all these people are just dishonest and they're all liars and they're all idiots. Would you say that you coming with that mentality is a key to the success of immigrants coming to this country?
Yeah. Like for us, like since like we have that like already like so far, and then when we come like moving from like there to here, like Meritah to here, we have already like a goal to achieve. So when we arrive, like they always tell us like when you go somewhere, if they like pulling their things up to like have something like have food, just do the same and then pull up and then sit down and then eat with them. So yeah, when we came here, like you come in, you have your goal, so the way they function, just gonna use them that way and then like keep like gain for you. And then after like send it, and then it's there you're gonna see they're gonna call their brother like, oh, this is good, come we're gonna enjoy. So like we have that, like we're gonna use here to like gain and then call those that behind us like, come on, let's enjoy. Like come. Like those people, they don't think. Yeah, like mostly like how do you say, like immigrant, when they hear, they just like, I need this, I have it, I'm going. Like when you say Nigeria people, when they like stole money, they finish, they're gone.
Yeah. They don't stick around.
No,
They don't stick around.
that was their main thing. Like,
Idara, we're sorry. But
She's turning her
I know, Idara's turning her face. But it's true. It's true.
yeah, like
It's true.
they don't have time to like to
They
learn.
don't
Like,
stick around.
No.
Yeah.
Hold on. You're so we have a great African in the chat. And they're commenting.
I was laughing at that comment.
First and foremost, shout out to Naba, Edita. Happy birthday, Naba. Yeah, I wish we had a sound, but we don't. But happy birthday.
Can we use that Blu-ray sound?
We don't have it.
We should though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that.
But happy birthday, Naba. And he said someone from America bought a lizard thinking he was being sold a baby alligator for a lot of money. That's how stupid people are in America. But then he also added, and he said, Africans are educated to always win for the sake of the family. So it's always about like, how can I take or fool idiots on the outside and then now take it back and go home? Like my dad was telling me about how I have 2 uncles, right?
Yeah.
That are wanted by Interpol.
Really?
Yeah, like
What did they do?
Like wanted by Interpol, because what they do is
never
they
heard
go.
this story.
Yeah, I know. You know, you always save the right stories for the right times. And so my dad said what they do is they go to like Arab countries and they go to like where they have a lot of money, and then they go and they say, you know, it's people that got scammed out of money, and what they do is they say, okay, we can get your money back, but this is what we need in order to get your money back. So they say, okay, the guy's like, okay, I got scammed out of $2 million by this person.
$2 million is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's Arab countries, bro. So what they do is they go and they say, okay, we can get the money back, but in order to get the money back, you have to give us 100,000. And so what they do is then they give them the 100,000. And then they go and then they try and get the money back. And then they're like, okay, you know what? I was able to find some of the money. And then they come back with more. And then they give it to them. And they say, okay, I wasn't able to get everything, but I was able to get 200,000. So here's your additional 100,000 on top of the 100,000 I was able to get. But if you want me to be able to find the rest of the money, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. So now you have to give me like 500,000, and then what they do is they give you the 500,000, and then they disappear.
Sen, I'm not even understanding what you're just saying. Like, how does that make sense?
Because they don't actually lose any money. they gain $500,000
I understand that, but why would somebody give you money to find money?
because then they're not thinking.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank you.
they're not thinking.
I'm trying to understand this kind of scam. You know why? Because I like
because
to
you
know
wanna
how
do
these
it.
things work. I want to know if can I repeat this kind of scam.
You repeat it. Yeah. So then, my dad was saying that they're so intelligent that by the time Interpol is landing, whatever plane they're on is taking off. So by the time Interpol finds out where they are, they're already gone. And I was like, Dad, do you have their number? Like, can you get me in contact with them? Because it's
Are
like,
they hiring?
I know, right? Like, I'm like, can I get in on this? But it just shows that, like, it's so easy to take advantage of people that aren't thinking. Because they're so stupid that they're like, how do I get the money back? How do I get the money back? Mm-hmm. And then you're like, yeah, I can get your money back. And then they're just so concerned with getting the money back that you're willing to you're telling them certain things that don't even make sense. And then they're like, okay, yeah, cool. But yeah, I don't know how to explain it to you. If you don't get it, then I can't really help you, son.
No, it's not that. It's just, I get it.
Yeah.
I just don't get how somebody fell for it.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's crazy to me.
Like,
what?
yeah, at first when you tell me like you can find the other 2,000 for like 200.
Yeah, exactly. For more money.
I'm going.
Yeah.
The 200 they already give me, I don't care about the rest. I'm just going.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
like-
Great.
Just think a little bit. Like I can give you, like I give you. You say like how many they're gonna like give
Like they're
back?
like, yeah, we'll get you the 2 million, but now you have to give me 500,000.
No.
Yeah.
So it's like they literally just gave them the 200,000 that they gave them back and got
Yeah.
Exactly.
500,000.
And then got 500,000 on top. So you give them the money that you
Took
got
from
them,
Mm-hmm.
and you give it back to them, and then you're like, okay, if you want more, you have to give me more, and then they give you more.
It seems like they would have gave $1 million.
Yeah, but,
yeah.
I mean, I'm diminishing the numbers, but like it's yeah. I mean, but that's the thing is that's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with Africans. Is Africans, don't sleep on Africans, man. Like just because you're believing the hype out there about Africans, and then they're telling you Africa is like this, Africa is like that. There's a reason why people in Africa are living the way that they're living. It's because they're smarter than you. It's because they're more intelligent than you. They're not living that way because they're not. They're living that way because there's an intelligence to choosing to live that way as opposed to living this way. But if you bring some of those so-called people that you're looking at that don't have what you have here, and then you put them in the same kind of situations, life situations daily, bro, they excel. And they do well.
Yeah.
That's why people talk about Nigerians coming to America and doing so well. Idara's like, finally. She's like, now we're talking about Nigeria.
It's funny you said that. I saw it was a YouTube clip actually, like a YouTube, because YouTube does reels now. So they had a YouTube reel. I don't know her name, but she's a very well-known Nigerian author. So she was talking about how in Nigeria, like back in the days, they didn't necessarily identify by race. So like the idea of being black wasn't a thing. Like they identified based on ethnic groups and based on like tribes. So like the concept of black wasn't a thing until she came to America, where she saw roots and learned about slavery and learned about like what race is, like black versus white. And she was like, oh, okay, I understand. But she went to college, and in her college, they had one paper to write. And this paper was like it was a big paper. It was their first paper for the entire college. So her paper got the top grade. And the teacher or the professor wanted to know who wrote this paper because it was the best paper he's ever read. And so when she raised her hand, he was like shocked and surprised because she was black. And she was like, I didn't understand racism truly until that moment where it was like, oh, like because I'm a black person, at least considered by American standards, this is like not supposed to be what I'm supposed to be able to do based on the standards here. But then what she also said was that she thought growing up in Nigeria that they would know here in the West that Nigerians are just brilliant. Like she thought that was just a common thing because they would know Africans are just brilliant. And I'm even bringing that up to say, even a lot of like the inventions, like even these cell phones, like the social media, all of this stuff, they're going back into our villages and taking out the youth and taking out the people with the intelligences and the genies to be able to produce all of these things for us in the modern society. And they would never, ever, ever, ever say that.
And
Not once.
They're fighting for, that's the thing I don't think a lot of people realize, is that they, like Silicon Valley and these companies actually compete to get the best engineers and the best people from like India. And the best people from these other countries internationally. Like I was talking to a brother today, and then he's like, you know, I work at this company, and it's a major company. I'm not gonna put his business out there, but it's a major company. And I was like, oh really? And then he's like, initially I was in Dubai, and then they moved me to now the headquarters here. And I was like, oh, I was like, well, what is it? And it's a software company. And then I'm like sitting here thinking to myself, and he's Nigerian, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, and I'm like, you know, I'm like, that's the thing is like they know they like the people here in America that have to be on the cutting edge of technology and have to be on the cutting edge of things. They're always looking for a leg up on somebody else by getting the fresh, young, intelligent talent that is going to give them an advantage over somebody else. And that's why you find a lot of people looking at the life here as being more alluring or luxurious than the life back home, because they're thinking about everything that they can get by abandoning that life back home. But it's like sort of, you don't understand that you become the reason why you're able to attribute having that kind of intelligence is because you come from an intelligent system back home. Now, with that being said, have you noticed the differences of coming from an intelligent system back home that gives you an ability to understand like how you can lose that intelligence by maybe functioning a certain kind of way or doing certain things, or maybe, you know, kind of abandoning it like for the wrong things? Have you noticed that? Or have you come to any realizations in that regard, being here?
Yeah.
Pray do tell.
Yeah, that happened to me, and that was bad. That was actually bad, and like,
I know your dad's listening, like, say it. Say it.
Shoot.
Yeah.
What was that? What's the what did he say in that movie RRR? He said loose, aim, shoot.
Yeah, that happened to me like maybe like not 3 months, maybe 6 months when I was here. That happened to me, and it was something. Even like my dad was like, just leave her, like he just closed, like I'm like I really like starting losing like my foundation, like everything that built me. I started like losing that.
That's America.
Yeah, and then I was feeling like I'm doing something good, you know. I was so like, yeah. But after that, like talk like I say, where I come from, like they would always tell you the truth, even though like it gonna hit you, but they will keep telling you the truth. People keep talking to me. I come to realize like I'm losing like something that is important for me for something that is not important, because like whatever I choose doesn't gonna help me, you know, and this will help me. And since like I understand that now, like I start like following, and then like using whatever they give me, like foundation. Now, like
From back home.
from back home, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Like that kind of like now I can see like, yeah, I have a lot. Like I carry a lot, even the small that like I have from there. Like even like my little brother of 7 years old, if he here, he'll do good and like an elder.
An adult.
Yeah, an adult there. Like he will do more better. He will achieve more than So like when I get that, I just readjust myself and then now following like putting whatever they show me out there. Now I'm gaining and then I'm so proud of that. I'm not achieved, but I'm keep going.
Well, let me ask you this, because the interesting thing is I don't think people understand that they're coming from something intelligent until they're in an environment that's not intelligent. So
That's a good point, because again, people would not know that they're not functioning a certain kind of way because they're already exposed to like what they think is normal.
exactly. So then, do you think you would be able to kind of have the ability to recognize that you have a lot here, but you have a little bit from back home
Yeah.
that puts you like so ahead of everyone else? Do you think you would have realized that if you hadn't come here and then realized how stupid
Oh no.
everyone and everything is here?
No. I mean no. To be honest, no. Like this is the thing, like when you were saying like the black lady that was expecting like someone here to tell her like the Nigeria girl to tell someone here to tell her like you excellent. Like this is like all like we back home there we want like someone here to tell us like we is excellent, but I don't think my grandfather in his village will wait for someone here to say like, oh, you is excellent. No. No, he won't wait for that. So yeah, like back home there we look at you guys people here like, oh my god, they're so great. And then every time showing us New York City in the TV, man, we like, I want to go there. Like, I want to go there. I want to live this kind of life. Until you came and then you'll be like when, there's a lot that, like, when they came here, they just feel like they lost. Because this is not us. We don't understand, like, what we're doing. But there's some people, like, when they hear, like, when they go, like, living there at home, they came like coming here, they know like they have a goal, and then that goal is like the priority. So they here, they achieve the goal, they're done, back. That's it.
Get back home.
Yeah, they get back home. That's it. So yeah, if I was there and then you ask me like, oh yeah, well, what do you think? Like, what you have here is good. I would be like, oh no, I want to go to America. But now I'm like, oh, please, can I go back to Meritah? I want to go.
Your dad's even saying, for the record, I told her to stay away from what our relatives here are going for. So I think your dad knows exactly what you were talking about without you even saying it. But the interesting thing is that people don't, you can't explain that to people here. I mean, to people back home.
No.
Because even
Explain what she just said.
what
like,
she just said, you can't explain that to people back home unless they come here and then they understand it and then they see it for themselves. They won't believe you.
But some people they won't believe you, but some people would even come and still get caught up in it, like get lost.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
I've met people from Africa or Meritah and like the Caribbean, India. I've met people from Asia, Southeast Asia. All these people coming from those kind of like places that hold like that kind of like upbringing. And those people have told me that in my face, they will never go back.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like there's some people that's coming here without goal. And then if you know like human being like without goal, just like he's nothing. He just walking in the life, like he's not walking in the life, but he was walking like
Next to life.
next to the life. Yeah, so that's it. Like you don't consider that person anymore like an African, like someone back home, like someone that's come from somewhere. You just
They're already
consider,
gone.
yeah, they're
They're
just gone.
lost.
Just consider them like the idiot that we have here.
So would you say that America is basically like a mental ward for all of the rejects that are actually trying to walk life for real?
You gotta explain to her what a mental ward is.
Oh, like if I got all the stupid people and the crazy people that don't have any sense and put them into a building where they all just interact with each other in like a playground.
It's where they were trying to take me, the place where they take crazy people.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, is America just a very large place for crazy people?
Yeah.
You gotta put it in ways. You gotta put it in simple ways.
She just said,
Like,
I like the way she said it. She's like, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, yeah. You gotta put it in simple ways for people to understand what it is. But that's why when I tell people here, I tell the initiates here, especially in New Jersey, spoiler alert to some of the other initiates from other temples that might be hearing this for the first time. In America, the initiation we get is the retarded initiation. So like, like how you have like people that can't walk, or people that like don't have arms or legs, or people that like are like the stupid, like people that have like real mental challenges, right? Like they have real problems that like, stop them from being able to be like functioning like everyone else that has like everything else. I tell them that's us in America. That's the kind of initiation we get. And then they don't understand it, and then they're like, what do you mean? And then I'm like, you're retarded.
I think we get it.
No, you guys don't get it. No, you guys don't get it. You guys don't get it. Yeah,
Look, hear me out. After somebody telling you something for the millionth time, and then like you just think
if you're thinking about it. No one thinks. That's the problem. Yeah.
I don't think there's some people in you guys that doesn't think.
Exactly.
I won't say the name.
Yeah. We don't even need her to tell us. We already know, son.
He wanna choose his opinion, my
Yeah, exactly. We already know what she's talking about. We already know the people in the temple that don't think, because we're all sitting here looking at the people that don't think, and then we're like, why?
Like, how can I help?
Exactly. Like, how can I help? Like, last night I think it was like 1 a.m. and I was sitting there and I was talking to Meritah, and I was like, do you think we can help these people? I was like, do you think there's like hope for these people? I'm talking about some of the people here. And then she was like, and I was like, Meritah, just say no if you're trying to say no. Like, just be honest. If you feel like we can't help them, just be honest. I'm like, because I'm sitting here thinking like, I don't know if we can. Because I was thinking about the fact that there's someone that, we were likening to someone else, right? And then the person that we were likening the person to is someone that even Master Naba, who is considered a prophet, who's considered reaching the tip top of the levels of Kemetic priesthood, was in the process of even having trouble with helping the person. And then the person was telling me, like, there's someone here that you have that's just like that person. And then for a second, I was in I was thinking about it. And then later on, I think I was in the shower, and I was sitting there by myself, and I was really thinking to myself, and I was like, maybe I can succeed where the Makaru failed.
Oh my God.
Like, right? I started thinking like that. Hold on. I started thinking.
I don't have a comment.
Hold on. I started thinking like that. And then the next thought I had was, maybe it's impossible to succeed where the Makaru failed. So then that means no matter what you do, you can't help the person.
Yeah.
And then I was like, And then I was like, I think it's the second one. I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to help the person in the way I'm thinking I'm going to be able to help the person. Because there's that saying, it's like, even if you have, like, even if a crazy person, like, you help a crazy person, it's a proverb. I'm trying to remember it exactly. But it's like, every now and then, the crazy person, even if they're getting better, every now and then they remind you that they're crazy.
Yeah.
I remember when Bure was talking about that. He was like, every now and then you're gonna hear them just get.
Yeah, and it's true.
Like they be functioning completely fine.
Exactly.
And then you sitting there and they just.
It's true. It's true. And then I started to think about it, and I was like, you know what? I was like, honestly, and I told myself this. I was like, honestly, Titipsa, I was like, just do your best. I was like, just do your best and keep trying. I was like, but don't allow it to drive you
Insane?
And then I was like, just do what you can. But I think that, people here don't understand that they're not thinking. To some extent. Sometimes some people genuinely aren't trying. But then there's some people that try and even replicate that your way of thinking. They try and replicate the externalized perspective of your thinking. But then they don't understand that they're not actually understanding the approach that goes into it. Does that make sense?
Enough for me.
So it's like here,
What?
people will try, and then like if they see you like motivated, or if they see you confident, right, then they'll be like, okay, all I have to do is be motivated and confident. But then they don't understand that kind of motivation or that kind of confidence is coming from something within. So then they don't understand how to get to that thing within. They don't look to find that thing within that can make them be motivated or make them be confident, and then they just try and be it on the outside. And then it's like, that's not the same thing.
And it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, sure, human beings, we don't really create or invent anything, right? We have to have a model to follow. But at the same time, everybody comes with their own spirit. Everybody comes with their own taboos. Everybody comes with their own things. So I can't jump in and say, I'm going to act like Tutipsa. It's not going to work for me.
It's never
I have
gonna
to act
yeah.
like Kaja's Riemann. Like there's things in me that I have to figure out to find that for myself. And the same for you and the same for everybody else. And I think that's also another like problem in the West. Like here, people think there's like this basic standard model where everybody like kind of copies and follows. And then it's weird too because
Not
everybody,
thinking.
like everybody gets like this weird kind of like, I want to be unique. I want to be individual. But then you're not being unique and individual because you're
Just
doing
copy.
exactly what everybody's saying to do it. So it just becomes this weird thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just saying that to say like things here are just different. It's just so weird, and I think that when you really break it down, we're all here in the society in the West, functioning borderline crazy or borderline mental health, like or mental. What do you call it? Mentally unstable.
Yeah, mentally
That's
unstable.
really what it comes down to because we're all stuck in our emotions. We're all stuck in our ways. We're all stuck in this kind of like cycle of not trying to actually put ourselves in situations to get out of our comfort zones. So it becomes this weird loop of just mental retardedness. And then we become so comfortable with it to the point where we don't even recognize it anymore.
Well, I don't think you're encouraged to be able to recognize it. And that's what I'm saying is like, the reason why I was asking you even like, would you have been able to recognize that you came from a culture of intelligence if you didn't come here and then weren't seeing a culture of like anti-intelligence or like a culture of stupidity. And it seems like here it almost becomes impossible for you to recognize the fact that you come from somewhere if you never actually go somewhere that has a culture. Or vice versa. You can't recognize you have culture or you've grown up in culture until you go to a place that has no culture. And that's why I was asking, because it seems like it's impossible, because you won't even realize that there's a standard, or there's like I don't want to say requirement, but there's an expectation of how you're supposed to function in a place of culture versus being in a place with no culture until you get to the place where there's no expectation. And then you start to realize, like, oh, there's an expectation where I come from. There's a requirement where I come from. And then you don't realize that either in one or two ways until it's too late, or when you notice it start to slip. And then that's when you're like, oh, I see. Now, this is why everyone else around me in this place that doesn't come from that requirement sucks. This is why everyone that's around me that doesn't come from that requirement, or doesn't have that kind of requirement in their daily life, you're looking at them and you're being like, oh, you have no culture. Because you don't realize you grow up in a culture until you're either out of it, or until you're in a place that has more of a requirement of that said culture. Like, the only way you're going to get that is if you find yourself traveling in a different environment. But here, you don't find that. Some people don't even leave their hometowns.
Yeah.
Some people stay, like, there are people, like, we're in Fort Lee, right? So if you're looking for us, you can find us, 1506 Anderson Avenue. And we're on Google, so... But nonetheless, if you're looking for us, you can find us, right? All you'll find here is knowledge and an ass kicking if you're looking for it. But I even forgot where I was going because I got so worried about telling enemies where they can find us. But what was I saying? Somebody remind me. What was I saying?
You were talking about those people that live that town.
Oh. Yeah, but I was going somewhere with it. I can't remember.
They never travel anywhere else. They never get exposure to like something different to know where they're coming from.
Yeah, I was going somewhere with it. But, you know.
Yeah, but talking about that, like when my mom was doing my hair downstairs, and then, so I'm like, when my mom was doing my hair downstairs, and we were talking, I'm like, oh, like the Gregorian calendar is almost done. And then she's like, well, what did you achieve this, like, and this year? I'm like, oh, well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is. It is almost done.
Yeah, January's like right around
January's
the corner.
in 15 days.
Yeah. So I'm like,
That's crazy.
well.
Yeah.
I travel a lot. And she was like, and then I'm like, I travel a lot, but I don't know. And she's like, you're glad you travel. There's some people that never leave their town, and then traveling is good for you because you learn. I'm like, yeah, actually, I learned this here. Like, now, like, I have the ability to see things different in front of me. Yeah, like, I'm not in that kind of box where, like, it just where I came from, just in front of me, but now I can see everything. And then, so now I know how to move when I'm like in different area from here, like or from back home. There, I know, like, there I'm this, and then I have to learn. Here, I'm going this to like enjoy, like gain from these people. So that's it. Like, it's like, it's good for me. Like, I understand what you say, like what the teacher was saying when he said, like, if you don't, like, you're not going out, you won't know, like, what's going out there. You won't find out until, like, you went there, and then you will see.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, express the need to travel and to get outside of your comfort zone enough. But people don't want to place themselves outside of their comfort zone. And
we on the block.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I would just say, like, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, challenge yourself to get outside of your comfort zone by traveling. And, like, even if you're an initiate, the most important thing you can do is travel. And the most important thing in terms of traveling is go to places that have culture. That go to the places where they tell you not to go.
Mm-hmm.
So that means, like, if they're telling you stay away from this place,
Go there.
Go there.
Mm-hmm.
If the modern society is like, don't go to this place,
Mm-hmm.
that's where you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
If they're like, you can't trust this place, that's where you need to go.
Mhm.
Like me, some of the places on my list are like North Korea, Iran.
Definitely. I agree with you on that one. Definitely.
Like, because the fact that they're standing against America
Mhm.
means that they must have something that
Yeah.
America feels threatened by, which means, because if America is a culture of no culture, it means they must have something culturally that
Mhm.
they're standing on that America's like, we don't want you to exist.
Yeah.
So I would say just the best advice maybe we can give you is travel. But travel to places where America tells you not to go.
Mhm.
Those are the places where you should start. Where the so-called third world countries that the Western places will tell you not to go to.
Mhm.
Go there. With that being said, a word from our sponsor before we get into rapid fire. Yenboam, if you don't mind, I know you can read English. If you don't mind reading this. I just want, the same way I love to hear you say fat cat in your accent is the same way I just want to be able to hear you read the sauce advertisement in your accent.
Why you do this?
Yeah. Wow.
It's okay, we'll help you. We'll help you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sassos. Sas.
Sas.
SAS. SAS had sauce beginning in 2007 when a small group of students traveling in West Africa were trying to think of a way to support.
Support. Yeah.
Support.
Charitable.
No, I can't say that one.
Let me see. Charitable. It's okay. You can go to the next. Go to the next one. Yeah. It's a group effort.
Okay. Project. One of the student traveling happened to be
Talking to the mic.
Artisanal.
traveling to be an artisanal hot sauce.
Chef.
Why me?
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. It's
Chef.
I
I can see.
I know I have the privacy screen.
Oh, okay.
And right there, hot sauce was born.
Thank you.
No, you keep going. There's still 2 more paragraphs.
Okay. And right there, that's what?
Hot sauce right here. Since
okay.
then.
Since then, SAS hot sauce has pride itself. This pride. Okay. Itself on making expansion.
Exceptional.
Exceptional artisanal hot sauce. If we put this on Instagram, I'll do it.
Hi. It's too late. It's already on Instagram. What are you talking about?
The way her eyes just opened up.
Yeah, keep going. It's too late.
Encourage to support good cause. We continue to
Do this.
do this with the best on
Tastiest offering
of sauce, flour,
flavors.
flavors.
Uh-huh.
Okay, how do you do to date?
Yeah.
With a focus on supporting
Displaced. Yeah, you got it. Supporting. Yeah. Supporting. Yeah. Displaced. Yeah, you got it.
Family in the Fadon Gourmand of Burkina Faso with the revenue from ourselves.
You see, just the way you pronounced. Say it one more time for the people.
Fadon Gourmand.
The way we mispronounce it every time, you pronouncing it right once is how we sound trying to pronounce the other words. So just know, you know what? Just because you had trouble pronouncing the other words, it just shows that you came and you traveled and that you have something that we don't. because it's very difficult for us to even pronounce Fara and Gurma because we don't even pronounce it the same way. So take that. All right, so
I guess Russia is welcoming. What is Russia talking
Russia
about?
is welcoming what?
I don't know. I'm reading the chats. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. The person might be crazy. So yeah, let's get into rapid fire.
I'm unmuted? Oh. We live. All right. So, first up, we got Israeli stocks shorted days before the October 7th attack. So, just 5 days before Hamas launched its attack on Israel, a warning may have shown up on the stock market. A study by researchers from Columbia University and NYU called Trading on Terror suggests that a trader may have been aware of the coming attack and bet against the Israeli economy and walked away with a profit by short selling on the U.S. and Israeli stock exchanges. Short selling is basically a strategy aimed at making a profit off of an asset that is expected to drop in price. The seller borrows a security and sells it on the open market with the goal of buying it back later at a lower price and pocketing the difference. The study looked at the Israel Exchange Traded Fund, which is a common way for people to make investments in Israel, which on any given day has around 2,000 shares shorted. All right, that's just a normal day. According to their research, on October 2nd, that number shot up to over 227,000 shares. According to Columbia law professor Joshua Mitz, one of the authors of the study, he says that's extremely unusual, but it was also extremely profitable. And the shares sold short for one Israeli company alone yielded a profit of millions of Israeli shekels.
So this is the thing is like even before 9/11. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what happened. Like, the people that own the World Trade Center didn't have an insurance policy that covered terrorist attacks. Mm-hmm. And then they somehow, like months before, got an insurance policy that covered terrorist attacks. Mm-hmm. So you can't tell me that these things are planned. Because, like, as an African, and Africans being intelligent when it comes to scamming, I know a scam when I see one. And you can't tell me that attack in Gaza or the Israel-Gaza war right now, the Israeli and the Palestinian war that's happening right now, and for them to kind of plan it in that way doesn't tell you that it was obviously planned. Because I'm just mad I didn't get that information because I would have shorted those stocks. Yeah. And I wouldn't even be here. You guys would be like, where's Teresa? We can't find him for some reason. He changed his number. We can't reach him. Because I would have taken those millions and I would have been like, deuces.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just to add on to what you're saying, I mean, it's always like that though. Like if you pay attention, like I've come to the realization that even with what we learn here, like spiritually, like how there's like cycles, there's rhythms to things, there's things you have to learn to fit into. The modern system is no different in the sense that there's rhythms and there's cycles for when there's destruction and when there's time to profit and there's time to lose, there's time to gain and it's time, and, you know, just financially to benefit. Yeah. So if you understand like the period spiritually, you can also understand the period financially. Because then you know where to put your money and how to put your money. Like you remember Makuzum? Yes. Makuzri, but Makuzum. Yeah. He was he's a professional trader. Yeah. So during our time in Per Ankh, I would watch this guy literally make $600 in 15 minutes. When COVID hit, and he was still in the second gen for New Jersey, he was telling me like, yo, he feels a little bad. I'm like, why, bro? He was like, because I'm making money off of this virus. And I know that it's rigged, but I gotta feed my family, though.
Why didn't you call me?
Why didn't I call you?
Yeah,
You
like-
were stuck. You were stuck in Meritah.
So?
We weren't really talking like that at that
Yeah.
point. You know, I didn't really know you like that. But
Yeah.
the point is,
Did you make money?
did I make money?
Yeah.
Nah, I didn't make any money.
Man,
I
get
didn't
out of
make any
here.
money. I didn't make. I did. I had some money in Bitcoin, and I took that money. And that's how I got to Meritah. But that's another story.
Oh.
Yeah. So, what I'm saying is this: like, if you understand the movements and the cycles and the rhythms of how things are flowing, you're always going to be able to profit, no matter what. So, with this war and all that shit that's going on, the people who are in charge of this, the people who are behind all this stuff, they know what's going on. They're in tune with these rhythms as themselves, and so they're doing certain things at certain periods in the time frame or in time and space where they know that the energies are right for that. So if you understand that, you can profit or gain financially.
Yeah. I mean, that's why even 9/11 was on World Renewal Day.
Exactly.
They know.
Mm-hmm.
That means that they understand the real cycles of nature, because that's a very specific point in time within nature where a cycle and a realignment and a readjustment is occurring. So for them to even do 9/11 on World Renewal Day means that they understand the real natural calendar of nature and the real natural cycles of nature. This is the only place where you can get the real natural calendar. RisingFirefly.org.
You heard the man.
Yenboam's like, I don't even know what the hell you guys are talking about in terms of the stock market.
All right, next up. So, over in Ukraine, we have a Ukrainian veteran sets off hand grenades in a village meeting. So,
What?
a Ukrainian village councilor bombed a government meeting with hand grenades on Friday, wounding 26 individuals. In a video filmed in Koretsky, Western Ukraine, a man walked into a room where the village council were discussing the community's budget on Friday morning. He then takes 3 explosives out of his jacket before pulling the pins out and throwing them onto the floor right in front of him. Deputy of the Kertsek Village Council from the Servant of the People Party, founded by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He works in the village council's Law and Order Commission. According to an Instagram comment on Valuetainment's page, this is where we got this story from, a few minutes before the explosion, the guy's name is Serhiy Batrin, and he was arguing with his colleagues that during the war, it's not possible to give the village head an allowance of 50% and a monthly bonus of 100% of his salary. So he's basically saying that the village leader of this sort of commission that they have over the community, he's making too much money in a time of war. You could be redirecting some of the resources to help out during the war. And basically his coworker, everybody else was like, you're bugging.
Yeah.
We don't care. And he was, and it was this that basically infuriated him. And because in a previous vote, he refused to recognize the work of the chairman of the village council as satisfactory. He was like, you're not doing a good job. And everybody else was like, no, he's doing great.
It sounds like one honest person in a room full of liars.
Exactly. So basically his claims, and arguments just didn't affect any of his colleagues at all. And they were just like,
So he was
whatever.
just
dude. So he
forget it.
left. He left the meeting. He came back with the grenades, popped the pins, dropped 2 of them in front of him. And the third one, he just kept it in his hand. He popped the pin,
my God.
just kept it in his hand.
Is he dead?
Yo,
They
what?
exploded. No, so reportedly they're not dead. None of the people are dead, but there were 26 people that were severely injured.
Did he lose his hand or something?
I don't know.
Probably.
I saw the video.
It's
And
crazy.
The way you gotta see the video. The way he drops the grenades, you would think they're not grenades, bro. You would think he's just dropping just
Marbles?
I don't know, like marbles, bro. Just throwing a Beyblade or a Pokemon card on the floor or something. Because the way he just throws it, man, you're like, that can't be a grenade. And there's video, and then you just see boom, 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 and then you're just like, man. But yeah, I guess don't play with people. This guy, what did you understand? Like what he did? So basically,
She's like, no, hell no. I'm just here for the ride.
You know a grenade, right?
Yeah.
Like the bomb. A guy walked into a place in like the country next to Russia, Ukraine, where they're fighting, and he was saying like the guy in charge is making too much money, and they weren't listening to him. And so what he did is he came back with 3 grenades and he blew up the room.
Your mom was like, how does that?
He blew up himself too.
Anything. What do you call a situation like that? Is that just extreme emotion? Like, is that conviction? Is that dedication? Like, what is that?
I guess you could say it's all 3.
I mean, I don't want to like like you guys got to know who you're dealing with. Like there's certain people you don't play with. So
Yeah,
I'm
but say he
surprised
blew
they didn't know
himself.
to not play with him.
But he blew up himself too,
Said,
saying.
it doesn't matter.
Bro, if it was me, I'm just gonna throw it and run.
Yeah, if it was you.
But that was the crazy thing. He dropped the bombs, and there was like people. Another comment on Instagram was saying that so many people are so used to safety that they don't even recognize danger because he popped the pins and threw them on the floor, and it was like a lady that kind of did like this.
Exactly.
But she didn't even get up. Like nobody got up and ran. Like they were just like, oh.
Exactly. Bro. And then I'm like, damn, I'm like, the blast radius of a grenade, you think just lifting your leg like it's a rat is going to protect you from the grenade?
Bro, the moment he popped it, I was out the window.
Yeah, but the thing is
I'm gone.
No one did that. To the point where you're like, what is going on with people? But again, here we go. Go back to what we were talking about in the beginning. Stupidity. People don't think. Like, there's no way if somebody walks in here right now and drops a grenade, I'm not gonna be like, oh, was that a grenade? I'm out the window. And if all of you guys stick around when someone drops a grenade, that's your problem.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's the evil world we live in.
Degeneration. All right, next up, we got anti-Semitism versus Islamophobia on Ivy League campuses. So, controversy over last week's congressional hearing regarding anti-Semitism on college campuses continues to play out at Harvard, MIT, and the University of Pennsylvania. Just a quick note, MIT is not one of the Ivy League campuses, but it's a part of the conversation. So, presidents of all 3 campuses, this is a spark note, they're all women.
Okay. The presidents of these campuses
all
are all
3
women.
of those campuses are women. So over the weekend, Penn President Liz McGill resigned after calls mounted for her removal among students, faculty, and donors. All eyes then turned to Harvard, which announced on Tuesday that its president, Claudine Gay, will keep her job amid intense pressure. Critics say McGill, Gay, and MIT President Sally Kornbluth failed to convince Congress in the public that they can adequately protect their Jewish students. Those concerns largely erupted after the university presidents were asked whether calling for the genocide of Jews would violate their school's code of conduct. Many felt that their answers were too legalistic and lacked moral clarity at a time when both anti-Semitism and anti-Arab and anti-Muslim incidents are on the rise in the country.
You have anything to say to this?
I don't think.
Can you explain?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, what's going on is like at the universities, they're fighting, and then they're saying that there's like people that don't like Jewish people and people that don't like Muslims are fighting.
And there's protests that are happening at the schools.
So they're saying you don't have the ability to protect. They're saying to the universities, you don't have the ability to protect these people. But then the thing is it's like, protect them from what exactly?
Yeah.
There's just this assumption that at some point there's going to be violence that breaks out on the college campuses because people are protesting against what's happening in Palestine.
Why don't they go fight then? Like instead of protesting, like I would, like if it was me. I mean, this is why I identify with the guy with the grenades. Like you don't play with certain people, is because if it was me, I would go fight. I wouldn't be here like, oh man, let's protest. Nah, let's go do something that matters.
Well, it goes back to what we were even talking about, right? Like, people live in a fantasy world where they have their own self-importance.
We can hear you, Terry Shot.
Where they think that there's like there's something to be prideful in themselves for protesting. Like, they're being prideful in the idea that they're a better or a good person or a better person than the person in front of them because they're protesting. So it's just that fantasy world again. Like, they're not actually doing anything. They don't actually want to do anything but make themselves feel better or feel good about a situation.
Of course. That's the whole thing. Is that, like, when you're dealing with I think Bill Burr has like the best take on like the social justice movement, and he talks about how like white women stood by white men for like thousands of years as they were like pillaging and destroying the planet, and then he talks about how it wasn't until that now the rest of the world was like, hey, white men, you need to stop raping and pillaging the rest of the planet, that now white women are distancing themselves from white men, and they'll be like, we were never a part of this. And then he's like, how can you not be a part of this when you stood by us for thousands of years, but now that the rest of the world is being like, you can't do this, now you're being like, yeah, we got taken advantage of too. And that's the thing, is like everyone wants to put themselves in that kind of position where they're like, no, I was never a part of this. I just happened to be a victim of it. And that's the thing, is like, come on, man. Everyone's hands are dirty.
Right.
No one is a victim in this situation. We're all willing participants in this nonsense, in this craziness.
Who washed the KKK hoodies? Mama! Mama did.
All right. I'm good.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Border Patrol finds homemade bombs at the U.S. border. So Customs and Border Patrol, as we all know, they've been pretty loose as of late.
Yeah. I didn't know you could just get in like that right now.
It's just like
you just get in. They'll let you in.
It's happening.
So like Border
What?
Patrol, huh?
What?
They let you in the country.
Oh.
Like you can just get in.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like I didn't know. I really didn't know.
Yeah. You just pull up.
I bet my dad is wishing it was easy for him back then.
So they issued.
I don't want to say what he did.
Border Patrol issued a memo.
Stop snitching, bro.
They issued a memo on Wednesday warning agents to be on the alert for illegal immigrants carrying explosives after 10 IEDs, which is improvised explosive devices, were found near the border. Agents were advised to exercise extreme caution and should report any possible armed subjects approaching the border with possible explosive devices. In a memo first obtained by Fox Business, the IEDs were discovered after agents stationed at a Tuscan border post exchanged fire with cartel members near a local ranch. The news comes against the backdrop of ongoing immigration policy debates in Washington, D.C., where Republicans have pushed to include greater funding for border security within the White House's broader $106 billion aid package to Israel and Ukraine, which they're saying now they're running out of money for.
Man, I need to get one of these security contracts for Ukraine or Israel. Like, I just need to start selling guns. Like, we just need to get some of these security contracts to Israel or Ukraine, man.
Seriously.
We'll make so much money. Or Border Patrol, it seems like, because they're paying like billions of dollars for Border Patrol, and they're like, we don't even have to do our job. They're letting you in. Like, you can just get paid. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like the whole. Is it just me, or does it seem like with America, like the lies are becoming easier to see?
Oh yeah.
Like it's just becoming like people now are like seeing the real lies of America, and they're just seeing the truth of it in real time. And then it's just like the president of America is Biden, and it's like you just see like him not being able to maintain the lie anymore, and then the fact that like America can't maintain the lie.
He's like 3/4 of the way dead.
Like he's not 3/4, but he's 97% dead. Like he's not, like I'm surprised. They're saying that like he walks around the White House naked at night.
Really?
Oh my.
Yeah,
For
like
real?
he wanders around the White House naked.
Wow.
Like that's what they're saying. They're saying that's how bad he is.
I would hope that that's true, just for it to be funnier than it is like terrible. That would at least make it
I
funny.
don't care, man. Who gives a fuck about Joe Biden? Because if you look back at the way Joe Biden was talking about like
Exactly.
things in the
Exactly.
80s and the 90s,
Mhm.
I'm like, bruh. I'm like, life has a funny way of giving you things back. And seeing him, the way he would talk about like black people, the way he would talk about other countries, the way he's like, yeah, and this and that and this and that. I'm like, bruh, it honestly, I don't pity you.
Wasn't he the one that said if there wasn't an Israel, United States would have to create an Israel?
Exactly. Just go back and watch Joe Biden in the 80s and the 90s and the way he was talking and the way he was standing and the way he would talk about other countries and the way he would talk about people. Hey, bruh, stupid games get stupid prizes.
All right, next up, bringing AI into the conversation. So
My
new
favorite.
definition.
Zawaz is somewhere smiling.
A new definition for the word hallucinate takes AI into consideration.
Oh, God.
So,
Where are we going with
let me
this?
pull this up. So, hallucinate is dictionary.com's word of the year. And no, you're not imagining things. The online reference site said in an announcement on Tuesday that this year's pick refers to a specific definition of the term pertaining to artificial intelligence. And I quote, to produce false information contrary to the intent of the user and present it as if true and factual. Or in other words, is when chatbots and other AI tools confidently make stuff up.
But that's already the news, though. The news already does that very well for us.
Yeah, but hold on. Keep going.
That's really it. That's it. They've included a definition into the dictionary that takes into consideration the fact that an AI robot can confidently make something up, and now they're calling that like an artificial hallucination.
So they changed the definition of the word hallucination.
No, they added a definition.
Oh,
So
like how
now-
English has multiple definitions for one word.
No, hold on a second.
Exactly.
Do you understand what they're saying?
Exactly.
I'm getting it now. Now I'm getting it. Which is fucking crazy.
That means that they're admitting that what you think is a hallucination is actually a realization of truth. And that what you're realizing is you're now shedding that lie, and that's what a hallucination is. That's what they're saying.
To produce false information contrary to the intent of the user and present it as if true and factual.
Wow. So then that's so interesting because it means that they're admitting that this whole thing is a lie and that everything that they've been presenting is a lie.
They're even building it into the robots at this point.
Wow. That's so interesting that they're admitting that.
Where is this really going anymore? Like
You mean like this?
This.
Yeah, because you just had like an existential realization
It's like what
in
the
real
fuck is
time.
like what's the really like you get what I'm trying to say? Like what's really like
So
what's
that's
the
what I'm
fucking
saying. Like when you look at America, you can just see like the tape, and like the curtains are falling down, and then you see Joe Biden naked walking around, and then you're like, oh my God, this is what it is.
You ever saw that video with Joe Biden? Like he's walking, he's trying to get into like a corridor or something for the White House, and they have the people there trying to have to align him to where he has to go because he's walking the wrong direction. So they have people there to derail him like, at every step.
Gotta love Joe Biden.
I love Grandpa. All right.
Oh man,
Next
it's
up.
a beautiful world. Man.
I mean, just let
A wonderful
Trump
time
come
to be
back,
alive.
man. At least Trump was paying us, man.
Yeah, I need another stimulus check.
Yeah, like just pay us.
I need another stimmy.
Yeah,
I got some stuff to take care of.
Next up, we got GMO food lobbyists looking to scrap safety rules on new genetically modified crops. So, the GMO industry wants genetically modified, herbicide-tolerant, and insecticide-producing crops to be allowed into our fields and onto our plates without safety checks or labeling. This proposal has been widely condemned by groups representing the interests of the environment, consumers, farmers, and organic and non-GMO industry sectors, as well as by independent scientists. In the July 5th final proposal, the Commission proposed to deregulate new genetically modified plants. This would basically allow all of these pesticide-doused new GMOs to slip into the farming and food systems unnoticed, unlabeled, and without any safety tests. If the deregulation proposal is adopted, it will open the floodgates for new GM crops that will not be assessed for risks for the environment, jeopardizing food security in the long run.
I don't even have a comment.
Yeah, I mean, you know what GMOs are? So they make fake things in a lab. So they make food in a lab. So
It's not
like,
real food.
It's not real food. So, like, if you pull, like, when we go to the grocery store, we have to read, like, what they put in the food or what they put in the thing. I'm not even going to call it food. Because they make...
The product.
Now they make fake food in a lab and they put it in the stuff here. So it's not even real. It doesn't come out of the ground. They make it in a lab. Look at your mom. Your mom's
What a...
like, I need to get the fuck out of here.
When is the next flight?
You see, like watermelons, like the watermelons, right? You see, fruit should have seeds, right? They have seedless fruits because they're made in labs.
So yeah. So now they're talking about how they don't want people to know about it, and they're saying like, no, it's safe. And so basically, what they're saying is
You don't see how people here is.
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. But that's the whole debate, is that there's people here that are like, no, that's not good, that's not okay. But then there's people here that are like, no, it's fine, it's good. And then they're like, oh, I'm a scientist, I'm a doctor, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm telling you it's safe, I'm telling you it's good. And that's the problem.
We was talking about that earlier, though.
Yeah.
Because we even been going to the grocery store
Yeah.
and like checking the labels.
Exactly.
And sometimes you miss one thing and
Exactly.
you get it back to the house and you're like, damn, contains GMOs.
And then I'm here like, did you guys know this has GMOs? Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
But it's real. It's like it's in everything.
Now they're even doing fake meat,
Yeah, they do fake
like
meat.
like fake meat. Like they
Yeah.
will put, like they will make meat in a lab underneath like a, what do they call it, a microscope. Like you would think it's real meat, but
They
it's
clone
not.
it.
They clone it. Yeah.
Yeah, Mom.
It's like you don't have to kill the animal anymore.
Yeah, Mom's like,
They
how
just
many
make
days
it.
am I here for?
They just make it.
No, we were, the other night, we're not going to say the song, and we're not going to say what it's about, but we were breaking down a song and how it's about, like, secret societies. And then, like, after we broke it down and we, like, it was, like, midnight, or it was, like, 1 a.m. or 2
Yeah,
a.m. We were
1 a.m.
working. And Yenboam was like, can you turn the song off? And we were like, why, Yenboam? Are you scared? And then we're like, wait, you don't want to hear a song? She's like, no, put on a good song. And then we're like, this is a good song. She's like, no, like a song where they're not talking about stuff like this. And then that's when I think Yenboam started to really realize, like, man, America? Like, fuck this place. Like, let me get the fuck out of here.
Can you imagine how many chicken I eat outside?
Exactly.
Hello. I have big things like that, right?
Exactly. That's why when you're like, oh yeah, let's go, we're like, no, Yenboam, you don't want to go. Like, you don't want to go to that place.
Next up, We got a Bronx drug trafficker arrested for torture. This one was funny. I have it labeled in OBS as Bronx booty burner.
What?
So
Just wait.
What?
a suspected drug trafficker who was arraigned in court on Thursday after 18 months on the run was a vengeful Bronx dealer who kidnapped and tortured at least 2 of his rivals by using a hot clothes iron to burn them on their butts, prosecutors said. The torture victims made the mistake of stealing drugs from Jonathan Huertas and his associates early last year and paid a cruel price for their piracy. According to the Bronx District Attorney's Office, the torture occurred in the basement of a Bronx apartment where Huertas and 3 others ran their drug operation, court records stated. After drugs were stolen from their SUV, Huertas, in a recorded video, can be seen repeatedly threatening and restrained male victim and placing a heated iron on his exposed buttocks. Searches and surveillance.
Why was this in public?
Searches and surveillance led to the arrest of Jimenez and 2 others, but Huertas, 31, managed to escape and stay on the run for 18 months until authorities caught up with him in September. There was actually another video that was admitted in court of him taking a lighter and burning a plastic bottle over the exposed buttocks of another one of his victims to let the hot plastic drip onto his skin.
So, hold on, let me explain this thing, Yebo. So, like
Sounds kinky.
You know how they have like the metal stick in Meritah that they put in fire and then they put it on the cow so that you're able to know, like, okay, this is my cow. So there's a guy in New York City, right there, and he was fighting with other people, right? And so they sell drugs, okay? So the people he's fighting with sell drugs too. So what he did is he would get the metal stick that they put in fire and then use on the cow. He would capture the people that he was fighting with, and he would take that metal stick and he would put it in fire and then he would put it on their butt. So he wasn't putting it anywhere else. He was just putting it on their butt. So he then was taking like a plastic bottle. Like how you put in fire, it melts. Yeah. So he would then take the plastic bottle. Look at Idar's face. He would then take Idar looks so disturbed. He would take the plastic bottle and he would put it in fire, and then he would let the melted plastic, go on their butt. So I mean, hey man, I guess people have different ways of making sure they're like heard. One guy walks in, hey, it's grenades. Another guy walks in, it's like, I'm gonna burn plastic on your ass. Like, people have strange ways of getting their point across.
Oh man. All right, moving right along. So, this one, it goes a little bit into education.
How much more is left?
There's one more after this one. So, we have a forum tomorrow.
Oh yes.
On education.
Quick pivot.
Quick plug. So, but this topic is just as ridiculous, but it has to do with education, sort of. So, a mother of 6-year-old school shooter is sentenced to 2 years.
Wait.
You
a
heard
6-year-old
me correct.
school shooter?
You heard me correct.
The shooter was 6 years old.
You heard me correct.
Are you serious?
Damn.
The Virginia mother of the 6-year-old boy accused of shooting his first grade teacher in class earlier this year was sentenced on Friday to 2 years in prison for child neglect. Police say that the 6-year-old student brought a gun into his classroom and intentionally shot and wounded his teacher, Abby Werner, on January 6th. Zwerner sustained a gunshot wound through her hand and into her chest. Police say the 6-year-old student brought a gun into his classroom. Oh yeah, that's the same. I copied the same sentence twice.
Wait. How? The teacher's white, right?
Yes.
Is the student white?
The student is black.
The student's black? Yeah, that's why. Let's just cut to the chase. That's why. That's why they made the mom go to jail, because I don't see any of these white shooters.
Talk about it.
They don't.
Like,
Yeah, they always get off. Yeah, they get off.
They never go to jail. They never have to go to. Their parents never have to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that makes no sense, because I mean,
How the hell did he get the gun?
how
So
old is
supposedly
Houthi?
the mother faced a charge about 2 years ago for like having a firearm and like a sort of handling it in
In the wrong
bad way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So is this like what she taught him to do? Like,
No.
she
so-
said, "Yo, son, if motherfucker ever hit you or say something, you cap his ass."
She probably.
And he just took it way too far.
Like how old is Houthi's? Like what, 3?
Houthi's 4.
Houthi's 4. Because I'm trying to conceptualize a 6-year-old
That's what I'm saying.
that is
How?
able to understand. Like, okay, I'm taking this gun
Right.
and I'm going to school and I'm going to shoot my teacher. Can you explain it to Phénomène in French, Terry Shot? Like just yeah, that situation. Explain it to him, just so we can see Phénomène understand what
The ridiculousness.
like the
of it.
ridiculousness of it. So yeah, I mean, hey, you know, I guess people, going back to what I was just saying, I guess people have different ways of getting their points across.
Yeah.
But bro, like not a 6-year-old.
6. Maybe he was, you know,
He's not
6.
even 7, bro. A 6-year-old.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to conceptualize. But then I'm like wondering. I'm like, okay, I was like, if you gave a 6-year-old, because okay, Houthis 4, so
I'm
like,
sure
fast
Houthi
forward
would
to
know
6.
like this is bad.
yeah, he would know it's bad. But then it's sort of like the kid doesn't care. Like the kid's like, no, I'm taking the gun and I'm going.
I mean, justifiably, hey, I'm not judging nobody, but if his mom is going to jail over gun charges, then hey, his environment isn't that conducive to him knowing that it's bad.
Matthew Ruth is like, yeah, I can see a 6-year-old shooting someone.
Damn, Matt, what kind of 6-year-olds you hanging out with?
Where do you live? In Toronto. Shout out to Matthew Rutu
Damn.
and Warriors Lil Bukande, always showing up, always supporting.
All right, funny transition, right? So this is my surprise for you guys this week. We're not gonna do a proverb. We're gonna do define it. So maybe this can be for Yenboam. She might shine with this one. So the word that you're gonna define is Sudu.
You have to tell us what Sudu is. You have to explain to us what Sudu is.
So like that will carry a lot, and basically even if I'm gonna say in English, I would say like patient, but it's more than that. It's more than like patient. Or I can't really explain, but it carry a lot. I can't explain good like English.
Try.
but-
Your best.
Yeah, try.
Yeah, like I can say like someone that's like if they say like you have Sudu, like you have like you're someone like that's patient but like humble, and then like just oh my god, like just smooth, like you can understand like your you can understand someone like you can understand human like you.
You can understand anyone.
Yeah.
So like if you have patience and tolerance, you're someone
Yeah.
that has the ability
Yeah.
to basically understand everyone. Like nothing kind of gets lost on you.
No.
So it's almost like, to me, it sounds like it's like you have a heart that doesn't kind of get rattled or like shaken. You have a heart that doesn't get shaken by being around people that can be unstable or can be like anything or any way or anyhow.
So to add, it's almost also, to me, it sounds like you can be somebody who also can find yourself in situations with people who, like Tsipa said, is like unstable, but people who are also
like in America,
like people who are also like unable to see like their own hindrance themselves, but you are able to understand them because you're able to see it even in yourself, to be able to now maneuver through it to help and guide those people.
Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense the way you kind of put it. And I realized we didn't even go into any of these questions that people were leaving in the chat. So before we plug the forum, let me just throw a few of these questions out there just to make people know that we're not neglecting them. And question from Matthew Ruta: what is the best way to help someone based on logic instead of helping someone based on emotion? So in order to help someone based on logic when they're rooted in emotion, you have to help them through the logic of emotion. So that means the person's based on emotion. So then that means you have to speak to them in an emotional way, trying to get them to a logical place. Like, you can't present to them logics that neglect emotion. You have to use emotions to force them into a logical place. So it's like you're gonna use emotions, or you're gonna like emotionally kind of motivate them by placing them in situations of emotions and situations and circumstances that force the person to utilize their emotions. And then that's the way you kind of drive them toward logic. Like, you have to be honest about where the person is. So if the person's emotionally driven, then you have to then utilize emotions to get them to kind of get to a logical place. I hope that makes sense. I guess. It's a tough crowd. But
I mean,
like
I mean, it's basically like if there's like oil, you wouldn't add like hot oil. You wouldn't add necessarily water, because then it just creates a friction where the oil starts to pop. Like, it creates a bigger fire. So you would essentially add more oil in a way to kind of balance it out. And then you would let that oil cool down, because like hot oil, then you add more oil, cools the oil that's already there hot down. So it brings it to like a balanced state. Then you can add what you need to add, and then you can actually calm down the fire. This is just me looking at it from a cook perspective.
Yeah. It's like, how do you help a stupid person, Yenboam?
I will help a stupid person being stupid too with him. Then, like, from there, he will see like maybe we will be like, oh, we're in the same level. So now, but like when he see me like I'm start growing, he'll be like, oh, let me catch this person. So I'll help him like that, and then we keep going.
So you make a stupid person think you're stupid, and then they then are like, hey, you're stupid with me. And then you now start getting out of that stupidity. And then as you get out of that stupidity, then they're like, oh, I can get out of this stupidity too. So it's like you hold the hand of a stupid person, and then you be stupid with them, and then you slowly start climbing out of the stupidity, and they'll come
like
with you.
Completely stupid like him.
You're not you're not actually stupid.
Yes.
Yeah, you're just showing them like, yeah, I can be stupid with you too.
I think that's also, I guess, an example of Sudu to begin with. You know?
I love the way you put it, though. The way you just make a stupid person think that you're stupid with them. All right. Then we have boom, 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 boom. It looks like Warriors Ubukande had a question that Nab actually answered in the chat, and it was, can it be said that the shifting of the cycles of the planet and karma brought the Nile Valley civilization to end? And Naba responded, the civilization in the Nile Valley did not end, it became. And then Warriors Ubukande said, how can the ancestors in the spiritual realm affect change to their descendants on the physical who are colonized and reject their way of life? And then he said, what did it become to Naba? And then Naba said, I think it is rather the descendants to create the effect of change so the ancestors can relate and manifest. Mm-hmm. And then he said, it became what African tribes descended from, the mystery schools of Kemet. And then he asked him, what tribe are you from? And then Warriors Ubukandi said, how do you create the effect without the proper understanding of the spiritual realm? And he said, Naba said, I know you would ask that, but it will start from within your tribe. And then Warriors Ubukande said, my tribe keeps secrets. How will they share this information with me? And he said, Naba said, what is your tribe is a different question from what your tribe is doing. And then Warriors Ubukande said, the Fang tribe's culture is very unknown to me, and I really don't know what they are doing currently. And then it's basically the end of the conversation.
Very interesting.
Shout out to Chelsea IP714. Says you listen to us but never join the live show. Welcome to the live show. And then Warriors Ubukande said, should Africa create 100 tribal state or countries and dismantle the Berlin Conference borders? I think it's necessary. I think that once we all decide to stop playing this game with like passports and borders and these so-called colonial countries, because it's just a game, and once we all decide to stop playing the game, then they can't really do anything. Like it finishes. So yeah, I think so. Warriors of Bukande said, what is your opinion on fake seeds and what are the effects? It doesn't matter. Anything that they make in a lab will never hold up to nature. So it doesn't matter what they try. As long as you align yourself and harmonize yourself with nature, no matter what they give you from a lab, won't affect you. Should oil drilling be banned, and is it good for the environment? I'm gonna let you think about that one.
Do you know the person?
Huh?
Do you know the person?
No, but I'm just gonna let the person think about that one. Then the question is, does a healer exhibit Sudu, patience and extreme empathy?
I think we already answered that.
Yeah, I think we already answered that. And then, I don't know who this is, but it's Meritah. Meritah, I don't know, someone said, I don't think it's helpful to blame others or call them stupid. It seems you're often focused on what others need to change, but what I'm hearing is a need for more self-reflection and personal growth. Right back at you. I think you need some nice reflection and self-analysis and growth because you sound stupid.
Is that somebody we know?
I don't know. I don't care. But I actually think it's quite helpful to call someone stupid because you got to call a cat a cat. And you got to be able to just call it what it is in order to help somebody. So it sounds like you need to get out of your emotions and that you need to understand that maybe you're the person that needs some more reflection and personal growth because maybe you're too emotional to understand how to actually help people because you can't help people by being dishonest. You have to help people by being honest. And the only way you can help someone by being honest is by calling situation what it is. And then there's a comment from Authentic Barbers. The show should be on live TV. We appreciate that. And we'll get there. We'll get there till we're at the point where we're on live TV. And then at that point, we won't forget, Warriors Ubukande and Matthew Ruta as the most dedicated Gate of Gates people on the show. Yeah, GOGers. And shout out to Sage Clark, said Ujjayi from the Toronto Temple, Ujjayi to Toronto, Ujjayi to all the other temples out there, all the other people tuning in wherever you are. Shout out to you. We have a forum happening tomorrow morning It is it a public forum? It's a members only forum. So anyone can join the forum that's a member. If you're not a member, you can go to our website. I think it's thirdcenter.org/membership. Yeah. Something like that. But you go to our website, you can find it. Yeah, it's on the front page. And it's kept our community. And what we're going to be discussing is knowledge economy to preserve our future. Indigenous education invests early and often. We will gather at this forum to discuss important questions such as what is the purpose of education through both the indigenous and the modern lens? How does knowledge impact our stability, health, and the way we live? How can we invest in knowledge to preserve life and ensure the well-being of our children and ourselves? This is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, on the topic of knowledge economy to preserve our future. Indigenous education, invest early and often. Go to our website, become a member, and then you can partake in this discussion that's happening tomorrow. It's going to be a very interesting discussion, very thought-provoking, very informative. We love to have people come on there that can contribute to conversations and help. And, join the conversation and push it forward. So please, everyone's welcome. The stupid, the intelligent, the brave, the cowardly, you name it, everyone. Especially this person that said, I need more self-reflection and personal growth. You first. That's been another episode of the Gated Gates podcast. We appreciate you for coming on. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Idiot-oo. And we hope you guys continue to tune in.
Peace.
Yeah.